We're
Live.
live.
We're live on the internet. DigiByte. What are we calling this? DigiByte Talk? DigiByte Live Chat.
Live
DigiByte
chat.
Live.
There we go. We're live.
We're live with DigiByte with the ambassador.
Yeah, man.
You really call yourself the ambassador, right? Ambassador of DigiByte. Kind of
Really
like
call
I feel like
yourself
the ambassador, right? Something out
ambassador
of
of
Star Wars. Ambassador of DigiByte.
I wonder if we should get
For the-
like a new name for me or something. Like if we can call me like Emperor or something. I don't know. I saw this really cool thing on the what was it? I think it was some dude was talking about Bitcoin Cash. Like forgive me obviously for starting off on like we're talking about Bitcoin Cash. But the dude started off talking about it. It was actually really cool because he comes up and he goes, "Hey, so I'm the CEO of Bitcoin Cash." It was really interesting. I think he was like a Dutch
Yeah,
dude or
was that
something.
Roger Ver? Roger Ver?
No. I'll find it. And I'll find it later on. But yeah, and so it's. I'm sure he was like a Dutch dude or something like that. A slightly older kind of male with like really nice wispy white sort of hair and stuff, and it was cool. But he was like, because we're decentralized, I can decide to be the CEO, and so he calls himself the CEO of Bitcoin Cash kind of thing. And so I was like, that's quite cool. But
That's kind of
we've
awesome.
got like a foundation. Like you can't compete with that, man. Like we have a foundation. Yeah.
Oh,
So I think I've gonna flick you the link.
yeah, I think we're live to the Twitter world.
To the Twitter
Twitter world's
world.
live. It's out there. Hopefully, all the people that hate me on Twitter don't come in here and start
Okay.
writing mean comments.
So let's maybe that's something cool that we could start with because it's not just the people on Twitter that have been hating on you a little bit, but I understand you got a little bit of shall we say love from the Reddit community
Oh
earlier on in the
yes,
week.
yes.
Yeah.
You know when there's three topics about you on Reddit, that's always an interesting thing. You know, it's like, what did I do this week to deserve three topics on Reddit?
Yep. And they're all
Hey,
on the
I'll
front
take.
page as well, right?
Oh yes, always on the front page. So what's big news right now for DigiByte? I mean, I feel like there's just so much going on that the world doesn't really even understand what's going on. It's just so much stuff.
Yeah, also we did that post when was that? Was that almost a week ago now? That one that was on Medium. And we basically we talked a little bit about what's coming up in 2000. Maybe I should actually like bring that up real quick. That's probably a really good idea.
Just gonna read your own monologue on the live stream.
How
You wrote it. You should
self-absorbed is
remember what
that?
you wrote in there.
No, but that's the problem, right? So there has been actually like so much stuff going on. It's honestly like when did I write this? This was now February the 17th. What are we today? The 21st. So that was like 4 days ago, man. So much has happened in 4 days. It's incredible. Just trying to like yeah, it's been absolutely crazy, but it's really cool. The specifically like so the wallet's obviously a big part of that, right? You've seen some of the
Yeah,
stuff. You actually tweeted about that last night, yeah?
yeah. About the development. I love it. I love to see Jared in the mix. Just answering questions, being a part of it.
And you had to post like a screenshot of me basically like of all my off the cuff comments and stuff looking like an absolute clown. It was so
I
good.
think it. I think most people are gonna see those comments as like, wow, this guy's really, really smart. He's asking all these really difficult coding questions.
All right, I'll take your word for that.
I
It
didn't know
was
what you're talking about, so hey, you win. You win. I had no idea. I was like, hey, all I know is it's something to do with the wallet, so let's post it.
it was hilarious and I was just like, "Oh no." No, it was honestly it was really cool and like you said it's great to see like so when was I don't know if they do that like the Ripple people but you seem to compare us a decent amount to the Ripple people, right?
Yeah, I don't think there's a live public developer channel going on at Ripple. I don't know. Maybe there is, but I'm gonna say that there's not. I don't think the founder of Ripple is sitting there at 10 o'clock at night talking to people.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so because it's obviously like the time zone differences and things, it's interesting for you as well. And so I was up at like 1 a.m. as well, going through a night or two ago, and he was still responding to me. And so that's like, if it was 1 a.m. for me, I feel it must have been like 4 a.m. for you guys as well and things. So it's pretty crazy. but it's like you said, it's really encouraging to see that they're in there and um they're busy working on it, and it's interesting because you can see the commits happening in GitHub and stuff like that. And so I'm trying to compile like the beta wallet and stuff and get that set up so I can run like a full node. And then I see these new commits come in, and they come in, and I'm thinking, damn, this hasn't worked over here. And then so I go back to GitHub. Oh yeah, cool. Look, it's already been fixed, like in the last like hour since I started, sort of thing. So it's really awesome. Just how I mean, like they're always busy. Like, don't get me wrong. It's I know just how busy, especially Jared is and things, but to actually see them like almost in real time as I'm building the wallets and stuff, they too are then uh,
Yeah.
committing to it. It's really cool. Yeah.
I don't think many people understand really kind of what Jared does in terms of, I mean, the guy basically he's the PR guy, he's the front man, he's the developer. I mean,
Yeah.
he's doing everything. I mean, it's
Dude,
not just like he's sitting in a room somewhere just coding all night. I mean, I was like asking him, I'm trying to meet up with him in Austin to do some videos, and I was like, hey, what's your schedule look like? He's like, well, I'm doing this and that, and then I'm going to Harvard, and then I'm going to MIT to talk. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, big shot over here, going to Harvard and MIT. But it's pretty crazy because a lot of people, I mean, they just don't. They think that these things are just, being done. Somebody actually asked me the other day, like, hey, where's the DigiByte company at? And I'm like, oh, it's worldwide. There is no company. It's a public world. They're like, well, who's the developer team? I'm like, no, literally, it's like 25 guys around the world who are in a Telegram bouncing ideas around and changing code and improving it. And it's like such a confusing idea, but it's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, and if you take that even one step further, right? So he posted on Twitter, and I think this was back like the first week of January or something. And he's like, "Hey, we need some people to help with the iOS wallet." He's like, "Come, join us in the developer channel." And I'm thinking, "Oh man, we're about to have so many people like flood the developer channel," and we did, but it was cool because there's now like you've seen it in there. There's like I think 1,500 people in the developer channel, and so these are actually people that are like I've seen some of the feedback and stuff that they give. The stuff that comes through GitHub and stuff like that. So we have some bugs, we have feedback requests, we have a whole lot of really cool stuff like that. We've got all of the translations and things that's going on. And so I know that you were quite instrumental in getting some of the translations as well done.
Hey, I'm not going to claim it, but when the app launches, I'm definitely going to claim the idea that I got the Indian Hindi translation done. I for sure was very, very important in that process.
Yeah, yeah, but like, how cool is that, right? Like, and so that's the
Yeah.
thing is we've got those people, and because you were in that, in the developer channel and stuff like that, they'll put a post out like, hey, we need someone to translate, this language or this language or this language, and you saw that you were able to run with it, and so that's super awesome. And so it's not even just 25 people, but like there are so many people actually working on the development of it. It's a very different what's model. Model sounds very stereotypical. It's a very different mindset, in terms of it's not just like one dude that's locked away, like you say, like in a basement or something, and coding away.
I mean, Jared might be in a basement coding away. I'm not going
He
to put
might.
it past him. He might be, but he's doing stuff. He's not just coding all day. The guy is out, like I said, he's going to Harvard, he's going to MIT to do these talks, he's working on things. Who knows who he's talking to? He could be talking to Bill Gates. Don't quote me on that. I can already see the Twitter post. Someone's like, he said he's talking to Bill Gates. DigiByte's go to the moon. But I mean, really, we have no idea who Jared's talking to or what he's doing in that big picture, because it's not he's not one to boast. He's not going to go on Twitter and say, hey, I just got done talking to Bill Gates. Hey, I just got done talking to Elon Musk.
Yeah.
And claim things like some other founders of ICOs and coins might do, where they got an email from the support team. They got an email from the support team at Tesla, and they're like, hey, just reached out to Tesla. Big things happening. I just talked to the help support team, the desk, the secretary at the welcome desk.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's actually like if you go back you and look at some of maybe the older videos and things that Jared has done. He's quite a humble sort of a fellow. Like, he's very, very respectful and very professional, but also very humble at the same time. And that's not something that we see a lot of these days, and I think it's quite admirable.
I like it. He's not a. I don't think he owns a Lambo yet. I haven't seen anything about a Lambo. I'm not
Yeah,
sure. He might own a Lambo. Who
yeah.
knows? But I'm gonna claim that he probably doesn't own a Lambo at this point.
Well, that's one of the
Now,
things that really good segue here. Okay, so we made a post and we've had some people kind of message us about this and we pulled it down. Basically, what we want to start doing is getting some funds for development specifically. But we've pulled it down. We want to kind of reword the way that we announced it and kind of discussed it and what the ideas are going to be for and things because we want to set the right expectations. And so one of those things that it might be able to be for perhaps would maybe be to go towards like some of the server running costs and things. And so you'll see there's like this great big list and stuff now. They mentioned it in some of the Telegram chats of all of these new servers and things that are going to be set up that are dedicated just to helping seed the new wallet. So on top of the fact that they've got all this really cool new code, which has contributed greatly, they've basically got a bunch of new servers and stuff, which are going to help just like pump out the wallet to new people, so it'll download fast. And that has traditionally been paid for, like basically by him out of his own pocket, sort of thing. And so what we kind of want to get some additional funding to help with development, but also maybe to go towards that sort of thing as well. But it's still like obviously don't quote me on this because it's still a little bit up in the air and we're still working on it at the moment and things. And so we're trying to basically like set the right sort of like expectations of like this is what we want this to be for. These are some of the goals, so people can maybe contribute towards development, so it doesn't all have to come off just one person sort of thing. Yeah.
yeah. So I just saw a really good question. Somebody asked about LightPay. I get this question a lot actually, and you can explain it as well. But I think I'll just give my kind of take on it. LightPay in general is really, it's not that Litecoin is creating LightPay. LightPay is a separate entity that basically developed a programmed or developed, an app slash credit card system
Yep.
that utilizes Litecoin. So it's not that like, hey, why isn't DigiByte making a DigiPay? It's not that they don't want to, but it's really not really their place. It's like more of, an outside person or outside company is really going to see the value there and then utilize that in their system where it's not just like Jared sitting there going, hey, I need to make a credit card for DigiByte.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. They're already so there's already a couple of them. I know because I got some of them, and I was in Telegram chat, and there was even some other guys that I was talking with, and they've used I think like 4 or 5 different like credit cards. Where basically, so you walk into a store, let's say you go in there and you want to buy your groceries, and so you're like, right, I'm gonna get myself some eggs, I'm gonna get myself some milk, and I'm gonna get some flour, I'm gonna make pancakes, and then you swipe your magic card, and you pay with it in your local currency, so like US dollars, New Zealand dollars, whatever it is, and then it automatically at the time converts the amount of, let's say, DigiByte that you've gone and put on there, and it converts it to your local currency at some kind of like a predetermined rate. Um,
Yeah.
and so there are already things that are out there that are like that, but they obviously go through that third party. If my understanding is correct, this LightPay is also a third party. Is that right? I don't.
Yeah, yeah. It is. It's a third party, and a lot of people, I think a lot of people are like, "Oh man, Litecoin, they have their own credit card. It's amazing." But really, I mean, the issue here is we're still reverting back to fiat. And
Yeah.
basically, I put my Litecoin on a credit card, but it's not like I'm spending Litecoin. I'm just basically converting my Litecoin for fiat,
Yep.
which is fine, which is awesome. Which I think a lot of people would love to do that with DigiByte, but it's not like, hey, Litecoin is changing the world and everyone's accepting it. No, they're just accepting Visa, which they already do, and now you can spend your Litecoin wherever Visa is accepted, which, like you said, you could already do with other cryptocurrencies in
Yeah.
general. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And so I mean, there's already the other. You can do that with DigiByte. I don't remember the brandings because I had 2 of them. The problem was one of them had problems with their credit card payment processor or whatever, and so they then ended up sending everybody out a message going, "Hey, look, we've run into some problems. We want to send everybody out
yeah,
like
yeah,
a new one." And I was
yeah.
just like, I don't
That's a
care enough.
common thing.
I'm dealing in DigiByte. I don't care enough to have to go and actually like swipe my FBOS card or credit card. Sorry. And I would personally rather like so I went into a was this little kind of an Asian like noodle bar kind of thing. And I went in there. It was really cool. And they had next to the till, there's this little like a QR code, and so this particular QR code, you can scan it and you can pay with, like, I think it's like WePay and Alipay as well and things like that. And so some stuff like that, like that's I'd love to see more things like that come out with DigiByte, that we can use that and actually, walk into a store and pay specifically with DigiByte rather than swipe your card.
Yeah, no, and that's all. Like you said, the big issue now too is that when you use these services, let's say you use LightPay, it's really LightPay is depending on Visa to keeping the deal
Yeah.
going. So if Visa comes out and goes, "Hey, we don't want to do this deal anymore," LightPay, it doesn't. It's done. It's
Yeah.
not that, you know what I mean. Like, this is really a Visa credit card that just accepts Litecoin in a sense that you're paying your bill with. It's yeah, but I think there's a lot of miscommunication. A lot of people are super excited because they're like, "Oh, Litecoin's got their own credit card," but it's no, no, no. This is a Visa card that still, it's Visa basically is controlling. Like you said, I think I forgot the name of it. I think it was WireX or one of those cards that they were like, "Hey, everyone's cards, you're no longer good anymore because we lost our deal with Visa, so we got to work
Yep.
on a new one." And it was
Yep.
like, what do you do then? You put all your money on this card, and you pretty much were living off of it. Obviously, you can get your money off the card, but it's still just like, don't put all your eggs in one basket and don't,
Yeah, yeah. So if you were previously using that particular card, you're basically like you're back to square one. Like, I mean, that was cool, obviously, that you could go down to your local grocery store and buy pancakes and stuff, but you haven't, like, nothing's changed. And so especially in terms of, if you look at the some of the ideas behind, like, both Bitcoin and subsequently also DigiByte, is that it's supposed to be decentralized and it's supposed to be not able to be controlled by one specific person. And so you run into things like, I remember as well back in the day, WikiLeaks, when they had their payment processing stopped by Visa. Like, this stuff happens all the time. So if you and I are actually paying between each other in DigiByte, rather than I pay third party company pays Visa, Visa pays you in your local Fiat. Like, that's had to go through like a whole bunch of different hands before it even reaches you. Not to mention, like,
yeah.
how long does that stuff take? Like, oh my gosh. Whereas if I'm paying with DigiByte, like, that stuff, you click the button and it's there. It's so good. We were doing some sending and stuff back and forth between a couple of wallets, testing out like the Android and iOS wallets. You hit the button and it's there.
It's there. Boom. Instant. It's I don't want to call it instant, but it's pretty much instant. I did it the other day too. It's crazy.
And the best part is then you have, like, so I was sending some funds to people in the developer chat again, and they would then turn around and send those funds straight away to somebody else, and then they would send that to somebody else, and so you can kind of you trace it, and because obviously we have a public blockchain and everything is stored on the blockchain, and there's none of this ZK snarks, there's no, like, hidden transactions or anything. You can then basically see this, like, it was only like 50 digibyte or whatever, but you can see it basically. And so, like, one guy's like, actually, I'm gonna keep a couple digibyte, and so he's like, I'll send 40 on to this dude, sort of thing. It was really
Yeah.
funny, and so you can basically see it going around people, and they're trying it out, and it's like it's instant. Like, you can't do that with a credit card, man. Like, you just can't do that. So
They're getting some good questions over there. Let's catch up on some of these questions. I think first question, obviously, a lot of people want to know who owns 2 billion Digibyte. Really, nobody has an idea because that's the cool
yeah,
thing about it, I guess.
yeah,
I mean, my bet would be that somebody very very smart bought a lot of Digibyte. Maybe, I mean, it could be anybody. Some people said maybe like a Richard Branson, somebody like,
yeah,
it could be a country. It could be a small country. Imagine like a little tiny country in Fiji that was like, hey, we're gonna buy a bunch of Digibyte and then make a ton of money, and then we're gonna pave the streets in gold. Who knows?
Well,
It's
one of
hard
the
to really
interesting
say.
things, like, because I take it, so you've been onto that, it's like chains.crypto ID, right? And that's where you basically, like, you had a look at the rich list there. Is that what you're looking at? Like, you can see there, some of them get
Yeah, yeah, the rich
labeled
list.
as like Bittrex and stuff like that. But you can see the wallets, and you can see them, and because they all start with a capital D, basically they're not like a co-payer address. And so it's quite interesting, because if you have a look at some of the other what are they, like, blockchains and things like that, what you'll find that a lot of exchanges do is they'll put them into a cold storage multi-sig wallet. And so basically, when they've got a certain amount of funds stored up in a particular blockchain, they'll basically take it all and they'll ship it off and they'll put it into cold storage. Now I don't know if this particular wallet is doing anything like that. Maybe. We can't tell, but
I mean,
it's very interesting to see.
they bought last year. They bought a ton last year. They didn't sell when it hit all-time high. They didn't move any money around. It went up 100, 200% since they bought in. They didn't sell one. They haven't sold any since then. So, I mean, it's really hard to tell what their intentions are, but obviously, I mean, it went up 200% and they didn't sell any. So it's interesting to see that.
Yeah, it's interesting as well. Yeah, like you say, they're it's someone who's in it for the long run, obviously. Like, yeah, yeah.
Maybe I think your microphone's doing something weird.
Sorry, am I bopping it?
Yeah. You're used to having that big beard, so you're.
I know, and it's just kind of cushy, and now it's all gone. It was so after the last video, like my wife was like, "That was really cool, really liked that." She's like, "But I got distracted by your beard." I'm like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
So she's like, "I think we should maybe like trim it." I'm like, "I went to the barber's like the day before, sort of thing, and got like so my brother's a professional barber and everything. I went to him, and he gave it a really nice trim, but I don't know what happened in my sleep or something." And so she does. She comes up and she grabs it. And she's like, "Right, it's coming off." And I'm like, "Yep, cool, let's do it." She grabs the scissors and off it comes. And then she looks at me the next day after I was like fully clean shaven, and she's like, "I think it needs to come back."
Oh no, it'll take a while. It'll take a while to grow back. Somebody asked, I like this comment. What was it about? Talking about atomic swaps. So let's talk about atomic swaps. And yes. I think there was a big confusion too that we don't need Lightning Network to do atomic swaps, and how DigiByte can easily be there for coins like Bitcoin and stuff like that.
All right, that's a really good one, right? Because I think you actually messaged me about that, and you were like, "Hey, this dude's talking about Lightning Network and how we need his Lightning Network for atomic swaps." You're like, something doesn't quite seem right. Like, is that legit? So you don't need the Lightning Network to do atomic swaps. In fact, you don't even need SegWit to do it. SegWit helps. But if you have a look, so I did this video back last year. I think it was probably around about maybe September, and it was one of the first kind of like screen recording videos. And so you've got this up here and this up here, and it's kind of hard to see like on a cell phone. You really need to do it on your PC. But you can see I do basically like an atomic swap for Litecoin with my DigiByte. And so I click send on here, and I say on this, it's done through BlockNet. And I say, I want XYZ amount of Litecoin for maybe like 100 DigiByte. I think this was back when Litecoin was only like $50 or something. Anyway. And so I hit the button, and it goes off, and it finds somebody to trade with, which was myself on another computer. And so myself on another computer goes, "That looks like a good trade." Click, and I'll accept that. And so what it does is my funds never leave my wallet and go into a third party like an exchange, right? Like, so with, like, let's say we've got the things like we've got Bittrex and we've got Coinbase, and you've got all of those different exchanges, and a really good one I suppose would be Poloniex, with the Poloniex problems they've been having withdrawing DigiByte.
Oh god.
Right? You see?
Yeah.
Okay, but if you're doing like an atomic swap, like if you and I were swapping DigiByte for Litecoin, Litecoin for DigiByte directly, we don't have to store our DigiByte on any third-party server. The stuff just goes directly between you and I. Like, that's cool, man. And we don't need Lightning Network for that. Like, we can do that now.
Hey, don't tell Charlie Lee that. Don't tell Charlie Lee, because he will not believe you. And then he will also say that it's stupid to have 5 algorithms, and then he'll say a lot of other things that he has been quoted saying.
I saw that on Twitter.
That was the best, really, that he made fun of DigiByte for having 5 algorithms, and then went on to say that, yeah, it's stupid to have that many algorithms.
Why not have 10, I think was what he said.
Yeah, why not have 10? Have 20 algorithms. I mean, that would be pretty effing sweet to have 20 algorithms. I think a lot of people would be really stoked on that.
I wonder if there's like a point of like diminishing returns, right? So we've got 5 of them, and that's cool because so the original goal was that we'd have 2 for ASICs, 2 for GPU, 1 for CPU. That we've kind of shifted a little bit more, and so now we've got basically 4 that are ASICs, and skein mining is still GPU mineable, but there's obviously that Baikal miner out at the moment, and so even in the updated roadmap that Jared kind of like retweeted, sort of thing. I think it was yesterday. That basically he still says like, look, we're gonna do an algo swap as well. So I'm super keen for that. But I wonder if there's a point, right? Like, so we've got 5 of them. What would happen if we had 10 of them?
I don't know.
Like,
There's got to be a point though where it's just, I guess, it's just not worth it because I guess you're just dividing all the hash power up across all these different algorithms, right? I mean,
yeah. Like, I wonder if like 5 is the sweet spot kind of thing. It's not something that I've actually talked with Jared and the other developers and stuff about, but I would presume that there's got to be like a, like let's do 6 instead of 4 or 5. Like
yeah, yeah.
I'm presuming 5 was chosen for a really good reason back in the day, but I'll be honest, I don't know what that reason was, but it's cool.
Well, you're a miner, so why? What's the point in doing an algo swap? What's the benefit, and what's kind of why the reason behind that?
Yeah, so back in November, yeah, a company called Bikel released an ASIC miner for the Grostal algorithm. Now, previously, that was really, really popular with AMD miners. But if you kind of like you fast forward now to November, and they released this one, and not only is it like it's fast, but oh my goodness, I think I figured it was like several hundred times faster than like a traditional kind of like AMD GPU. And then if you factor in, I think it was like a few thousand times more power efficient as well. It was ridiculous. And so this thing is super blazingly fast. And that's cool. Like, it's potentially always going to be like people are going to want to make ASICs because it's obviously more beneficial for them. It's more profitable. If you're one of the especially earlier people, you could potentially make a really tidy sum of cryptocurrency. And so we sort of started to see that in December, if you were mining Grostal, it was time to change to mining Skeen. Yeah, yeah. So the algo swap is basically designed to keep the mining distributed and allow like GPU mining. So it's great that we've got the ASIC miners and stuff like that, and we don't want to get rid of them. We want to keep them. They offer some great security and things like that. That's why we're looking to keep maybe the SHA-256 and the script algorithms. But we'll potentially look at changing things like Qubit. Have you heard of Qubit before? Because not a lot of people have. And so
I actually just bought some more 1070 GTXs. So
yeah.
Whatever the new algorithm is, please optimize them for those.
We're gonna cater just to you, man. It's yeah, no, but we get the distribution from the having like the GPU mining, right? Like, so as a GPU miner, you've downloaded the blockchain and things like that as well, and so we basically want that the additional spread as well of GPUs. We want the fact that anybody can contribute. Like, you started mining. Did you have a 1070 Ti or something? I think you said in your desktop.
Yeah, normal 1070, but yeah.
So a normal 1070, and you were able to fire it up, and I remember you sending me a message, and you're like, hey, how do I actually get started with this? And then it was 20 minutes, half an hour later, and you're going, this is the greatest. I'm contributing. Not only are you being reimbursed and rewarded, obviously, for the hash power that you're contributing, but you are directly contributing to the security of the blockchain and verifying transactions. Like, how cool is that, man? That's awesome.
I'm a part of it.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. So we're basically looking at doing an algo swap later on, which is going to allow people at home, as some of them do now, but hopefully to kind of spread it out a little bit more, to be able to continue to mine and contribute to the security of the DigiByte blockchain. So yeah,
I like it. Yeah. I think somebody just talking about the development. I think I wrote like this epic monologue the other night on Reddit. If you haven't read it, go check it on Reddit. Go read it because it's kind of explaining some of the things that I saw. I think a lot of people ask me like about DigiByte, and I'm like, DigiByte's been around for 4 years. Why has it not gone to the moon? Well, then I started to look at it, and I was like, I identified some of the issues, and then I also saw some of the things that were being improved, and some of the upcoming things that are really going to help solve those issues. First thing, now with the new wallet coming out, it's going to be able to sync faster.
Yep.
You're going to have the mobile apps. I don't think people really understand how big these mobile apps are for a country like India. Let's say, I love talking about India just because I've just been about that India life lately. But the Prime Minister of India basically came out saying, hey, we're going to support innovation. We're going to support this movement. We're not going to try to hinder that movement. And, they were pretty, sounded pretty bullish about it. And I think people don't really understand the power of having DigiByte on an Android device. I talked about Android just because it's such a much larger usage, Android compared to the iOS. But somewhere like India, let's say, I'm a dad and I work on a cruise ship and I need to send money home to my family. Boom, I can send money home to my wife instantly. She can pay for food. She can buy things at a local merchant in India that accepts DigiByte, and they can create literally this entire ecosystem where you have a small village in India. They can basically say, hey, this pack of eggs is worth 5 DigiByte. This bread is worth this, and they can literally just create their own system. And there's no inflation. There's nobody, controlling it. It's really cool possibilities of what this can do in a place that's not saying India's, not developed, but somewhere that's looking for an answer, that where actual dollar bills and stuff are hard to get or hard to hold on to.
Yeah, well, they just recently, I think it was like the 20 rupee note or whatever. They've outlawed it. They've banned it. They're basically going, nah, no more. You've got like a week, and then it's no longer legal currency. So get rid of them. But I like you touched on Android, and Android's really interesting because I've kind of before, like I've been not so much involved with Android, but I go through cell phones like nobody's business. Like every 2 or 3 months, I'm like, new cell phone, and they're always Android phones. And so I follow along with the Android story and things as well. And one thing that Google especially has been talking about a lot lately is things like the what do they call it? They call it the next billion. They've reached, I think they're at like 1.2, 1.4 billion installs now of Android, or sorry, active devices that have checked into the Play Store in the last 30 days. And so they're now talking about their Android One initiative is basically to like reach those next billion people in developing nations and things like that. And so if we've got an app, if we've got the mobile app, and this particular mobile app of DigiByte is able to sync really quickly, and so you fire it up, there's no waiting, and it works in like low bandwidth situations and stuff as well. Like, how cool is that, man? Like, we've basically just opened up this huge market.
Yeah.
And so obviously that's not there. I was talking with one of the developers, and he said, like, that's cool and all. He's like, I'm aware that that's probably going to be something that can happen. But he's like, that's not why I'm coding this. He's like, I'm coding this because I want it to basically be a really cool app that's basically just going to work for anybody. It doesn't matter if you're in, let's say New Zealand, if you're in America, if you're in, you can be in the UK, or if you're in India, if you're in China, it doesn't matter. He's like, I just want to make a really cool app, and I want it to be fast, man. He's like, this is, we've started doing some work, and I want it to be even faster. And so it's yeah.
I think the one thing that's really kind of going for crypto in general is that you got Facebook, you got Google, who are investing in basically giving the entire world Wi-Fi. They want every single person in the world on the internet. They want people using Google. They want people using Facebook. So right there, it's going to open up such a larger population of the world who really, like you said, doesn't have a great infrastructure or doesn't have fast Wi-Fi, stuff like that. Now you have somebody who lives in an island in the middle of the Pacific with DigiByte who's sending money around the world, who's never had Wi-Fi before, and now they'll have possibilities. So I think the next 10 years is really going to be amazing in that sense. That I would imagine just a worldwide Wi-Fi just everywhere. You go anywhere, everywhere, it's Wi-Fi.
Have you seen the Google? They call it Loon, like short for balloon. Have you seen that stuff?
Yeah.
They started launching it out of New Zealand here. It was crazy, and so you will have Wi-Fi in everywhere, like everywhere, man. So.
Yeah. The biggest question. You already know what I'm talking about, but Binance. I think a lot of people want to know, why is DigiByte not on Binance? Jared made a pretty good point the other day that, Binance basically told DigiByte, hey, you pay me $100,000 and we'll list you. Maybe we'll list you. And then they've got I think there was like 5,000 coins or tokens trying to get on Binance right now. It's crazy. What's going on with that?
So I don't know like the exact figure, and I don't know if it's specifically like 100 grand, or if that's him just whatever. It is if you've gone through, like, anybody can click through and have a look at their like listing criteria and stuff. Anybody can do it, and if you go through, basically, it's not rocket science that they want you to incentivize them to list you. It's not rocket science. You can read it.
Yeah.
It's on the forum and stuff. So I've filled out that form myself for the next upcoming community listing. Community, what do they call it? Community coin of the month. And so
Yeah, the coin of the month.
yeah, that's number 6, I think it is. And so community coin of the month number 6 is coming up. And so we've gone through, we filled it out. I went through. There's like 9 pages of this stuff. And so this form has changed since the last time that I filled it out, which has changed since the time before that, when I saw one of the other guys on the foundation fill it out, which has changed again since the time before, when somebody else again originally filled it out. And so everyone's like, why wouldn't you just fill out the form? We filled out the form, man. Like, the guys there probably like know us and know our responses. Like so we tailor the responses every single time. It's not like we're just like copy paste. So don't, but I kind of,
Yeah.
I don't know if like maybe like Jared basically just had enough or whatever, but you could tell, like, so Binance have basically been going, yeah, DigiByte, why don't you guys just list? And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, I filled out the form myself, and Binance are now going, why wouldn't you guys list? Like, come on, man.
I think it's also just like, how many times it's such a, this whole like coin of the month thing is such a scam too, because it's like,
Yep.
they just basically want everybody to promote Binance to get, so they want DigiByte to be like, hey, everybody go on Binance, go to Binance and vote. And it's literally just getting everybody to give Binance free advertising so that they can, in return, basically, get free advertising.
But it's
And
better
the
than
idea
that.
that
Do you know how to vote?
one coin.
Like with the Binance voting?
Oh, you got to pay with the BNB, right?
You've got to pay with BNB, and so if you don't
Yeah.
have any BNB, you've got to go buy BNB. And you know what happens if everyone wants to buy BNB? Price goes up.
The price goes up. Oh, what?
Right?
More Lambo,
Right?
Lambo coins.
Like, how clever is that? Like, that's freaking genius right there. But it gets better, because Binance have, in some of their stuff, basically said, we support DigiByte.
Yeah.
And we're like, wait, what? Where? Show me where you've listed us. No, it's not up there. And they're encouraging us to. Like, okay, because you've seen some of the stuff, like we're in a few channels on Telegram, and on some of these channels, basically you can see the exchanges and stuff that we're being listed on. Some of these exchanges happen with no input whatsoever from anybody in the DigiByte Foundation, the DigiByte team. Nothing. It just happens because we're based off the same sort of code base as Bitcoin and Litecoin, and it is not rocket science to get DigiByte added to an exchange. Like, it is freaking easy, man. Like, it's so simple. The stuff's all there. Basically, you literally have to change like the ports, and that's pretty much it. It'll just work. But so people are like, oh, it takes so long to get a currency set up. No, it doesn't. It doesn't take long. So
yeah, screw that. But I think somebody talked about they want to raise money to pay the ransom, but if we had $100,000, that $100,000 could be applied to, I mean, so many other cool things that could really help elevate DigiByte. Man. So that the ROI is just not there, So,
and that was what basically Jared also got. He was like alluding to. It was like, do you have any idea how much cool stuff we can do with 100 grand? Like 100 grand, you could. Like, I mean, that was probably like the sort of thing that LightPay cost, right? Like, I mean, I don't know for sure, but. Like, imagine what you could do with 100 grand. And the best part is even if everybody, like, even if we include that, like, an incentive fee or whatever you want to call it, like, maybe we include 50 grand, maybe we include, like, 200 grand, they're still not obligated. They can still, and even then, in the form, when you're filling the form out, it basically says, we can remove you at any time without warning, just because, and obviously they've got to have that in there because they have a bunch of scammy ICOs, but they've got a bunch of scammy ICOs, man. Like, so whatever.
That's a good question. Is DigiSign on the iOS App Store? That's part of DigiByte. They use DigiByte, right? Pretty much.
Yeah. So the way that works is it uses DigiByte for the underlying, like, all of the verification and the validation. but it's my understanding that when you purchase your, like, you get to sign like a certain number of documents. When you purchase that, you purchase it with like US dollars, basically, like with your credit card. I think the reasoning behind that was because, like, let's say you're working for a company, right? This company's not going to want to have to keep in check like a tally of how many digibyte they've got in a particular wallet. Like, so if you were to go to your accounts manager and go, look, I need $50 so I can sign these documents, they'll go, $50, yeah, sure. But if you were to go to them and go, look, I need $50 because I want to go and I want to buy some digibyte, and then with those digibytes, I'm going to want to sign these documents, and the digibyte levels are going to decrease over time. We're going to have to keep an eye on it and stuff. And we're going to sign them into the blockchain and stuff like that. They're going to go, how about no? So I think that was why they made it specifically like accepting US dollars, because while you can do it as an individual, the target market is more towards companies and things like that, from what I understand. So yeah.
Hey, in times, the great thing about public blockchain, really, he said he wants to donate $100,000. The cool thing about this is anybody can start their own marketing donation fund if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
If somebody in the community was like, hey, let's all raise $100,000 to get on Binance, they can go for it. No one's stopping them.
Yeah.
But obviously, we're not. It's not an initiative, really.
Yeah, and so I think one of the really cool things, kind of like going back a little bit to what I was talking about, like at the start of the show as well, was this dude from the CEO. Basically, he's like, what's stopping me from going out there and basically saying that this is what I am, and going out and talking on behalf of whatever, and raising funds. And so I was like, raising funds? That's a good idea. We should raise funds. Let's raise some funds and let's get ourselves this, like, because I knew that they'd already been in talks with getting a PR agency and stuff involved, and so it was basically kind of everything just came together at just the right time. And so when some of the guys from the foundation came to me and they're like, look, we've found somebody for doing this stuff. We've got an agency lined up and things. What are your thoughts on this? I was like, let's go out and let's actually fundraise. Like, I'm just the ambassador from New Zealand, right? Like, I'm nobody special. But there's nothing stopping me from going out and starting this up, or nothing stopping you as Patrick on your channel going out and starting a there's a particular feature or something that you want to pay somebody to code, like
pay for my Lambo fund. Pay for my Lambo fund.
If you want to start a pay for Patrick's Lambo fund, that's cool, right? Like I can see Reddit later on today, right? Like there's just going to be lists of people going, buy my Lambo, like pay for my Lambo fund everywhere. I'm
going to start a GoFundMe. Please, GoFundMe, buy me a Lambo. I think it'd be awesome.
Would be really cool would be like a GoFundMe, but using DigiByte. Like, I would love to see something like a Kickstarter with DigiByte,
It could be. Somebody was talking about buying DigiByte with Fiat. I think one of the members of the community is actually working on a project right now that will allow people to buy DigiByte with Fiat currency. PayPal has been talked about. They're obviously working out through all the legal issues and stuff, but it sounds like the project is coming along. Like I said, it's a member of the community. It's not that. It's not DigiByte directly. There really is no DigiByte directly. It's in terms, it's the public. So
yeah, exactly. But I was having a bit of a look at that as well. Now, have you ever used like local Bitcoin or local Ethereum?
Yeah, I have.
It's basically,
I haven't really, but I've seen the website.
Yeah, so it's going to be something similar. And so it's going to be obviously like peer to peer. So you and I, and you exchange your money, and then we exchange it, and they act as like a broker. And is broker the right word? Whatever.
Yeah, broker. You're broker. You're doing something.
And so you'll be able to basically buy it a lot easier. Now, it's not just there that you can do this sort of thing as well, because there's already certain places where you can go. I think it's Lightbit do a euro to DigiByte. I think there's two places you can go now, and you can transfer Indian rupees into DigiByte. There is somewhere that you can do the South African rand, I think, to DigiByte. There's two places for the US dollar as well. There's two places for the New Zealand dollar, one place for the Australian dollar. And so there are certain exchanges where you can do it. Yeah, it's a little bit of a pain that you've got to go through that one particular exchange or whatever, but it's definitely doable. But certainly opening up those things even more. And that's something that we're looking at. And there's people in the community as well, and people on the foundation that are trying to do this, is to get more places to pair specifically your local currency with DigiByte.
I'll just throw it out there. If somebody wants to buy DigiByte with fiat currency. I'll sell you some DigiByte. It's at about 4 cents right now. I'll sell it for 8 cents. No problem. You just send me the PayPal. I'll send you the DigiByte. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Hey, it's supply and demand, baby. Supply and demand. The demand's there. I'll sell. I'll buy some more on exchanges. But hey, if you want to buy it with PayPal, go for it. Send me an email. You can get me PayPal all day. I'll sell you some DigiByte.
Yeah, and that's the thing is there's actually a broker website that I know of that does that, and so they will. So you basically it's in New Zealand. You go to them and you pay them with your local New Zealand dollars, and they will go out for you and get Bitcoin. They'll get DigiByte, and they'll then send that DigiByte to you. And yeah, it's at a slightly inflated rate, but that's like you say, if people.
Hey, you got to pay to play, baby. You got to pay to play.
So
I think.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So just kind of talk. I think right now it seems from what I've seen, Jared kind of posting about work on. He's really just focused on the core wallet.
Yeah, man.
And improving just the overall network security, improving the speed, and making the foundation better going into 2018 to really ramp up. Building other things on it. I think some people were talking about we're not going to call them an ICO, but maybe in the future having some kind of a similar, but not really an ICO, but something similar to that idea built on top of DigiByte. I mean, the foundation is there. So anybody who wants to come along and build on top of the DigiByte Foundation can, not the foundation that you are, but the
the foundation of the blockchain. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Well, we're not building on top of you, but
I was talking with a mate of mine, and he basically so after watching the last interview that you and I did, he comes to me and he goes, I've got a really good idea. Working with my company, we could use the DigiByte blockchain to do this, this, and this. He's like, how do I get started? I'm like, dude, that's super cool. Like, here's some information for you. We can get you started. And he comes back to me like a day later. He's like, I've been looking into this. He's like, this is the greatest thing ever. He's like, I can't wait to get started. And he's basically building DigiByte now into his particular company's application. And so yeah, there's huge potential all over the show for so many different places for both specifically DigiByte and also the underlying like blockchain technology as well. And anybody can build on top of it. And so we've got our developer channel, and the guys there are great, and yeah.
I saw Jared posted earlier about some issues with Ethereum smart contracts. Basically talking about how easy it would be for someone to get into those. Did you see that? You're not on Twitter.
I didn't see that, but I mean, this is obviously why we've got Ethereum and we've got Ethereum Classic, because they had that whole DAO hack and they rolled everything back, and then there was that one recently as well where some dude basically locked up like an ICO's funds and stuff like that. I'm obviously not a developer, so I don't quite understand all of the programming languages, but when I do look at it, and obviously like you, I can kind of read what people are saying about it, and I can read the breakdowns and things where they explain it to the average layperson like you and I. It sounds super cool having like a full-blown like computer, like what do they call it, Turing complete computing network and stuff, but at the same time, like you're also opening yourself up to problems. So yeah.
I see people asking about privacy. Privacy, obviously, DigiByte it's not anonymous in the sense that you can see the transactions, but I mean, really, if you bought DigiByte locally, and you had a wallet and your name wasn't on an exchange, it wasn't anywhere out there, I mean, really, it's pretty private.
Yep.
Right? I mean, no one's going to know who owns that wallet, really.
And that's kind of the interesting thing as well, because we look at the that rich list as well, and so people are going, who is it? I don't know who it is. You don't know who it is. Nobody knows who it is. But
I mean, it seems pretty private.
Yeah. It's I mean, I suppose so the privacy is negated a little bit, where if I were to go and take my wallet and if I pay you some DigiByte, you're like, hey Joe, I'm gonna go and sell you some pizza and you can pay me in DigiByte. I pay you, and so now you know my address. And so because you know my address, you can basically trace back and you can go, oh, that's Joe's address, and Joe's okay, yeah, and so you can work it out. But
you could keep moving. I guess. No, I don't know. Maybe. But
yeah, you can keep moving it around.
Yeah. The big issue here really is I mean, it comes down to I think the big I saw people talking about Verge and stuff was when it really comes down to it. Let's say someone like the CIA. Let's say someone like the most funded technological not company, but corporate. What is it? Entity, whatever it is. CIA. Let's say the CIA wants to figure out who Josiah is sending money to.
Yep.
I mean, they're gonna figure it out. When it comes down to it, like there's just the world is so advanced now. I mean, they're talking about with Verge. So let's say you go to Starbucks and you buy something at Starbucks with your Verge. Well, there's a camera pointed right at you, and they're figuring stuff out. Like they can figure these things out.
Yeah.
There's got to be. There's a, I think it's a weird thing to claim 100% privacy.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I don't think anything is 100% private.
So there was this really interesting thing that I read back in the day, right? And so back when they were talking about in America that you are allowed it's not, what is it? It's not your data, but they're allowed your metadata or something like that. So it's not what's inside the packets, but it is knowing that you and I sent some data to each other and stuff like that. And so basically this dude went and I don't know how it happened, but he got his metadata. And he sent it, and he was like a journalist, and so he put it up online. And he's like, "Here, everybody, here's my metadata. See if you can, like, it's 12 months worth. See what you can find out about me." And so they go through it, and they're like, "Look, this dude moved house over this time. Like, he changed his commute. He's found himself a new girlfriend over here, and things like that." And so they didn't actually have like the data. They didn't know specifically who he was, buying coffee from.
Yeah.
But even with just that, they could still find out a whole bunch of stuff. And so the whole like 100% anonymous stuff, I'm not personally like a big fan of. DigiByte, as far as I'm aware, we don't have anything on our roadmap or in the future that basically wants us to implement ZK snarks to do things like Zcash, Zclassic, that sort of thing. DigiByte's all about like the on-chain scaling. And that's been pretty obvious with our like DigiSpeed and things like that. 15-second block times, block sizes growing. Yeah, so
I like it. And the big thing really at this point, I think, is just building awareness, building education. The chips will fall in place really. Like a lot of people are like, "Oh, we got to get on Coinbase. Got to get on this." I mean, DigiByte has everything that it needs to be on those types of places. It just takes time, takes awareness, a little bit of handshaking in the background and making deals happen. It's not that no one's trying, it's not that it's not.
Well, I think one of the things it's worth also mentioning. So especially over in China, one of the really big kind of things about that general sort of area is that often you will include like a monetary like incentive to let's say be listed on an exchange, or when you're doing business deals, things like that, like a gift basically. And so I would give you a gift as part of our deal and things like that. But DigiByte's never done any of those gifts, and we've never paid to be listed on an exchange or anything like that. And it was really funny as well because I had somebody that came to me before, and they're like, "So I need to know, how much did Patrick charge you for that interview that you guys did?" And I'm like, "What?"
One small Lambo.
Yeah, like so that's I can say with certainty, like we've not done any of that sort of stuff. So I mean, there's obviously nothing stopping somebody else starting to do like a bit of a channel thing and doing an interview with you, and they pay you maybe. I don't know, but like DigiByte and Jared Tate and the foundation, that's definitely that's not how we roll, kind of thing. So I think. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, man.
No, I think it just takes a time. I mean, obviously, DigiByte's been around for 4 years. Cryptocurrency's been around for a while. If you compare DigiByte to Litecoin
has
been around for 3 years longer than DigiByte. Now, if you look at the chart, you look at the overall kind of where Litecoin has been going, and you kind of look at where DigiByte is compared to Litecoin in terms of time-wise, DigiByte is actually in front of Litecoin in terms of price-wise. If you really look at kind of where it's growing, last year the price of DigiByte went up over 30,000%.
Yep.
I mean, there's moves happening, and it wasn't until Litecoin was added to Coinbase really until Litecoin exploded. And one of those reasons that Litecoin exploded was because Coinbase was a huge factor, and that Charlie Lee worked at Coinbase before it was on before Litecoin was on there. So there's all kinds of weird things going on. I know a lot of people are just so quick to be like, oh, Litecoin's so much more valuable. Really, what it comes down to is all the things behind it. And then also, like with LitePay, let's say I own a ton of DigiByte. DigiByte goes to $1. And now, personally, I might be like, hey, I want to donate, 250,000 US dollars to basically building a website, building a credit card that I can now make money with. So
Yeah.
The longer DigiByte keeps rising, the more incentive it is for a large, investor, a large company to really double down, because DigiByte hits $1, and now I'm like, hey, I'm gonna invest 250,000 US dollars to get a credit card going here,
Yeah.
and then I want to push DigiByte to $10. So that's kind of, you got to look at it from that. That's the trajectory that Litecoin's on. I mean, a year ago it was kind of, it was like, I think Litecoin started out like $5.
Yeah.
Beginning of 2017. So
Yeah.
a lot of people are like comparing, oh, DigiByte is getting left in the dust, but it's like, hey, they've been around 3 years longer than DigiByte, and they're just now really taking off. So what's
so
the
like
real answer?
it's interesting as well, because that also comes back to like the Binance thing. Like so I see all of the posts, and it's like, when Binance, guys, like we need to get listed on Binance. Why? Tell me, why do we need to, like why does this, not you obviously, but we've got people that are asking, going, why do we need to be listed on Binance? Why? Why do we need? I mean, yeah, they're huge obviously over there in their local market and things like that. But the reason why people want to be listed on there is because they want, obviously, to it's attempted price manipulation. They expect that when you get listed on such a large exchange that people are going to want to buy it. They're hoping that the price is going to change as a result, and so they would then basically, sell it off. And so we're not, obviously, price, like you said, last year was huge increases and things like that. And so even after the last, we'll call it the great Bitcoin dive of January 2018, we're still up, like, I think it's like 350% in the last 90 days anyway. It's the people that really want that are basically people who they're after a quick buck, really. And that's cool. Like there's nothing wrong with that, and obviously people do day trading and stuff. I'm talking with a guy right now on a live stream who does day trading. I've seen some of your stock videos and stuff like that as well, whatever, and so that's totally cool. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, but like the long-term vision of DigiByte is not that we're basically after supporting the people who are here for a quick time, not a long time. Like people who are here, gone tomorrow. Like that's cool. If people want to come here and be gone tomorrow, they're totally welcome to. But we're not about to pander to them, sort of thing, as our target demographic.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's two or three exchanges that added DigiByte in India recently.
Yep.
I mean, the Indian market's billions of people. People are talking about how there's 7 million people on Binance, but it's like, I mean, billions of people in India versus 7 million on Binance. Also, if you look at Binance, you look at there's been plenty of people that have been added. There's plenty of coins and stuff that have been added on Binance that have not gone to the moon.
Yep.
I mean, if every coin that got added to Binance went to the moon, why are any coins ever going down? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very unvalid idea. I think a lot of people are just excited. I agree. It would be great to get more exposure on Binance. People can buy it easier. They can trade it. But at the end of the day, it's not going to send DigiByte to the moon. It's just not going to.
Yeah. So that's actually a really good point. There are, like, if let's again just take India as a target market, because like you say, I'm talking with a guy who's helped get the wallet translated to it, right? Like, there's 1.3 billion people in India alone. That's like, what's the United States population, like 350 million? Like, that's over 3 times larger.
Yeah.
It's huge. And people are worried about 7 million people being on. How many people are on Binance? I don't know. A few million people on a Coinbase. That's cool. Like, honestly, like, don't get me wrong. So I'm not trying to like shit on Coinbase or anything like that, because Coinbase is cool. Don't get me wrong. But there is a huge untapped market and stuff like that, and so I'm really looking forward to these wallets and things like that you can, on your Android phone, on your iPhone, fire it up, instantly start sending and receiving DigiByte and stuff. It's gonna be cool, man. Yeah. Yep.
I think really, just it's 2018 is gonna be a great year. They're working on things are happening, but at the end of the day, things don't happen instantly. It takes some time. Who knows? Really, like I said, who knows who's really the big time players, the big companies aren't going to be posting that they're investing in DigiByte, or they're making deals in DigiByte today. It takes time. They're making sure everything's lined up right, and they're doing it the right way. And
Mm.
we'll see what happens these next couple of weeks, next couple of months. You never know. You just never know what's going to come. I think that's the one cool thing about DigiByte is there's just not that you just never know really. I think what's going to happen.
Yeah,
Like I
man.
said, it could be something big tomorrow.
Like we've already had such a big start to the year as well. Like I was talking with one of the guys from the foundation as well, like a day or two ago, and I was like, man, so we've already like if you look at it, right, we've got the Android, the iOS wallets. We've got all of this new stuff happening with Segwit implementation in the wallets. The new wallets on your desktop's going to be themable. We've got things like we've had the PR agency. We've still had like an exchange a week has been listing us. Like every week we're on a new exchange that's more people that can easily buy and sell DigiByte. And so it's already like we're not even through February yet, and it's already been a crazy start to the year. And so I'm so excited to see the wallets coming out and stuff like that as well, and then the algo swap. And there's even more stuff as well with DigiID. I'm really looking forward to that. But that's a little bit later on. But we'll get there, like you say. So yeah, yeah,
Oh man, there we go. So I think we've been on here for over an hour now.
yeah.
This was a good test run. I know people are talking about this. I think it was really just a good test run. Kind of what is it, 7 a.m. your time or 8 a.m. your time? You just woke up.
Yeah, so it's 8:30. I had to get up, man, at 6 o'clock. I hate getting up that early. That's all right.
Yeah.
But I thought we were only gonna go for like 20 minutes, and then we got talking, and you got talking, and so it's maybe we should wrap this up. Do you wanna do like a quick plug for your channel, and we'll.
I think everyone knows me, Patrick Wieland.
Yeah.
Here I am. I'm here. You can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me wherever you want. But
Yeah.
definitely come join us on Telegram. See what's going on behind the scenes. You'll see I think once you really experience kind of what's going on behind the scenes, you'll see a lot of things are happening. I know it's
Yeah.
not every day people are like, oh, the price isn't going up, but just because the price isn't going up today doesn't mean that development stopped or people aren't working hard.
Yeah, we still keep going every day, man. And so especially, so we've got they announced the beta and stuff for the wallet, so people want to jump on, they want to test that stuff. By all means, come along, come check it out, and say hi on the Telegram channels. Yeah.
Perfect. You can actually talk to Josiah. Maybe you can talk to Jared, the founder of DigiByte, right on Telegram. You never know.
Yeah, man, he still comes along and things like that. Comes and says hi and stuff to me regularly. It's kind of funny because sometimes people will go along and they'll tag him and then they get sad. It's like, why hasn't he responded in the last 5 minutes to me? It's like, well, he's busy programming and stuff right now, but that's cool. And so he does. Like he jumps in and says hi. And so we've got a great community in the tech support and stuff as well, the mining support channels and things to help people out. So even if it's not specifically me or Patrick that's going to come along and help you, we've got a great bunch of people in there. The community is awesome, and so big shout out to everybody in those, like the mining and the tech support channels. You guys rock.
I like to say one thing. A lot of people were asking about the marketing team. The marketing fund, the 300,000 DigiByte, that the PR that with Tom Cridlin, that's not the marketing team. I mean that's one key.
Yeah.
Tom's working on PR with news, celebrities, print, magazines, stuff like that. And
Yep.
then you've got, we've got 40 guys, 20 guys sitting in a marketing channel on Telegram, bouncing ideas around. We're working on videos, working on stuff. So it's not just like Tom's the only marketing there is.
Yeah.
There's an entire industry,
So
entire group of people.
We have been hearing from Tom as well. So people are like, when's he gonna make some announcement about what he's been doing and stuff? It's like, well, that's not quite how this works, but yeah, like so I know like the dude's been super busy. Like apparently he's already sent out like a bunch of emails. He's been in touch with his contacts and things like that, and has been doing analyses of the market. Analyses, that's a really great word I made up right there. He's doing an analysis of the market and our target demographics and some ways that we can further meet people, partner with people. I don't know, whatever. But I know that he has been working on stuff, and so we get people that are like, we haven't heard anything, and it's been a week now. Where is he? Like that's not quite how PR works, but yeah. So it is definitely, so it is still being worked on. The dude is awesome. I can't wait to see some stuff coming out from that.
See, perfect. Yeah, let's sign out there. We'll be back maybe next week. You never know.
Yeah, let's try and make this a little bit more of a yeah,
Regularly happening.
regularly
Perfect.
irregular. Yeah, cool, man. All right, hey, thank you
There
so
you
much for
go.
your time. It's been a pleasure as always.
No worries. We out.